There will be a triple return on EastEnders next week, with the square left reeling by the news. There will be 3 returns on the BBC soap next week, including Karen Taylor, who is back in Walford and desperate for news about her son Keanu, who was murdered by Linda Carter in shock scenes this Christmas. Karen is back from Spain, but she soon finds herself in trouble when Phil Mitchell arrives and demands she hand over the £50,000 she kept from Albie's kidnap ransom. Next week, Karen is back in the square, and immediately she finds herself clashing with Nish. When Phil arrives and demands the money from her, Karen is distracted by the events of Christmas Day and wants to know what really happened that day. Kathy and Stacey come together to convince her that their version of the events is the truth. Phil and Karen are still at loggerheads over the money, and when she refuses to pay up, she hurts Phil by telling him all about Nish and Kat's romance and how it's just the start of his Walford empire slipping away from him before his very eyes. Worried that Karen is going to expose them for what they've done, Kathy decides she has no choice but to call the police and report Karen for Albie's kidnapping. But what will this mean for Karen? Separately, the soap will also air a return for Eddie Knight next week. We know his parents are hiding something from him, but we are yet to know what it is. Will George's arrival finally lead to the truth being exposed? Next week, Eddie heads back to the Vic with the news that H has won an award for championing diversity in boxing. Whilst George is proud about him, Gina is suspicious and isn't convinced by her granddad's new nice guy act. But will George see the truth? Elsewhere, the soap will air a return for Keanu Taylor as Denise Fox continues to struggle in the wake of his death. She hallucinates and sees him as she struggles with all that has happened, whilst Bernie also inadvertently plays an old voice note from Keanu. Follow Mirror Celebs and TV on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Threads.